Let's move on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had decided on Sunday that their best interests were served by moving on from Antonio Brown. They said on Sunday, Antonio Brown is no longer on the team. It's Wednesday morning. Antonio Brown is still on the team.
Yeah.
And I hope he shows up for work today.
Oh, that would be cool.
Hey, George Costanza in play now. They haven't fired him yet. Keep showing up for work.
Yeah.
Show up for work. You're still on the team. They said you're not on the team. You're still on the team. And, Chris, I really don't know what this is. If this is some awkward dance over he's possibly injured and they can't cut him while he's injured, well, they can. He would have a grievance that would get filed, and the question would be, does he get one more paycheck?
Yeah.
Big deal.
Right.
To me, because I've had people say to me they're concerned that they can't cut him because he's injured. It's one more game. Yeah, of course it happens all the time. It happens where a team cuts a guy and then there's a fight after the fact where the guy says, "I was injured. You shouldn't have cut me." I feel like there's something more going on here, and I've heard from people who say there's no way anyone is going to sign him if he's available. There's no way. I think that at the core, the Buccaneers don't want to play that game. They don't want to roll those dice. They don't want to take that chance. Bruce Arians and Jason Light don't want to have to explain to Tom Brady why Antonio Brown had 10 catches for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game that caused Tom Brady to not get a chance to pursue his 8th Super Bowl. That's what I think they're doing.
I agreed, 100%. They're trying to find some way to through, the legalities of the NFL and the legal channels there to find conduct detrimental to the football team, right? That's what I would imagine. It's something like that where they can put them on, suspended leave or whatever, and then they don't have to worry about it. I think that's the number one concern. That's all it is. And also that there probably is documentation to hit the ankle. I mean, we know that's a real thing. I know yesterday – I was one of those guys, that was going, well, let's, questioning that. I didn't mean to question it like outright. I understand he's got an ankle injury. I get that. But was it so bad that he couldn't go back in the football game? That's what I questioned. And that's all I was saying yesterday. And I think that's, of course, where the debate or the debacle happened on the sideline there. As I kind of texted you last night, like I watched every route Antonio Brown ran in that football game. You don't see a limp. He's running routes great. You don't see really anything. There's one route on a go route where you kind of see a little bit of a hitch in his giddy up, but I bet you most people wouldn't know. I know a little bit because I watched them and on film and have watched him so much, but he was still making unbelievable cuts or whatever. Either way, that's where I think the big question is for me. It's just what happened on the sideline. Why? Was he just mad he wasn't getting the ball? Because there are some plays in the game, Mike, when I went back and watched too, where I go, yeah, he was open, and he kind of has the hands like why didn't you throw to me? Why did he throw to Gronk here? It was a go route by me and a go route on the other side, and he went to the other side, and I had my guy beat. That was his last route, and then he never came back in. And so that's what I question. I don't mean to be insensitive. I know he's got an ankle injury, but to the extent of not being able to go out there and play anymore, I don't know. And then it's not a good look when you're in the end zone jumping around and doing all of that. I understand that doesn't mean route running, but usually people with bad ankle injuries don't do that and get at the crowd jumping and dancing around and doing all that. So that's where the whole damn story's weird, and I'd like to know some of the truth there.
And the fact that they have yet to cut him when they said on Sunday he's no longer on the team.
Yeah.
Reinforces my gut feeling that the story is far more complicated than what we saw with our eyes after the break happened, after he was supposedly told you're no longer on the team, so he decided to go ahead and implement that decision immediately, like I would if somebody came to me, if I still worked in an office, and I thank God every day that I don't. If they came to me right after lunch and said, you're fired, I would not wait until 5 o'clock. I would leave then. I would leave my shirt on, but I would leave then. I would leave my shirt on for entirely different reasons. If I had a physique like Antonio Brown,
you might take him off.
Right. On my way out the door.
Too.
Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't put a shirt on in the first place if I had a physique like Antonio Brown.
Right.
But Chris, look, they knew he had an ankle injury.
Yes,
and so
did.
when Bruce Arians says go back into the game and he says no, at some level you have to ask, if you're the coach, is this guy's ankle bothering him? He didn't practice Thursday. He didn't practice Friday. He was questionable for the game. At some level, you got to take a step back and say, let's make sure his ankle's okay. Hey, trainer. Hey, Billy, check out Antonio's ankle and tell me if he's okay. Not continue to escalate. Go back in the game, no. Go back in the game, no. Go back in the game, no. You're off the team. I really, this is pasta and meatballs, spider sense. Bruce Arians was done with Antonio Brown. Tom Brady was not done with Antonio Brown. And an opportunity fell out of the sky in the middle of the game for Bruce Arians. And he may not have planned this. I'm just saying sometimes these opportunities arise and you just take advantage of them because they advance what you are hoping in your heart will happen. I have a chance to stir this up just enough to get him to cross a line, and I can say you're off the team. And who knows what he'll do once I tell him you're off the team. And then it's not a question. He's gone. I don't have to worry about Tom Brady. I only have to worry about Tom Brady if he ends up with another team.
Yeah.
See, that the fact that he's still on the team is the thing that makes me think this was no boating accident. This makes me think that there was something more to the story that we're never going to get, but I think it's fair for us to wonder. And Bruce Arians will talk to reporters today. I don't know. Maybe they hope he doesn't show up today, and they can say he's on the left squad list or something like that. I hope he's in Tampa, and I hope he shows up. He has every right to be there. The union, I'm told, is in the dark about what's going on. The Buccaneers have no comment about any of this. I can't get Brown's agent to respond to multiple text messages. Rick Stroud mentioned last night that Browns camp is going to have something to say at some point. This one just cries out there's more to the story. There's more to the story. And my curiosity has me waiting and hoping and wishing that we'll get something that gives us a chance to maybe piece it all together and figure out what happened. I don't think we will, but I hope we will.
No, I'm with you. I'm dying to know what the hell happened. There's obviously something more there to it. I mean, there's a lot of angles that come into play here too. There's the legal side of it. You got to deal with the NFLPA, the union there. So I'm sure that's part of why Tampa's so quiet and kind of probably behind the scenes trying to figure out, what to do, get all their ducks in a row here to figure out the next plan of action to take with Antonio Brown. So, yeah, they don't break rules or do something wrong or become legally liable. I look at it that way. But, I go back to, what you said about Bruce Arians. Yeah. I don't think it was a planned attack or anything like that. I bet you Bruce Arians probably doesn't like Antonio Brown. I mean, just as he stated before Antonio Brown got there. He was in Pittsburgh early on in Antonio Brown's career. He probably heard all the horror stories that went behind the scenes after he left Pittsburgh with Antonio Brown, because there was a lot of those as well. And Pittsburgh did a great job all those years of kind of managing him. And, not the whole NFL really realized what an issue it was at times. So he's heard those stories. But, yes, he came to the team. Brady liked him. Okay, let it happen. But I have a hard time thinking Bruce Arians, who's been really like an ultimate players coach. Players love him. He loves the players. I mean, to the point where he crosses the line sometimes of coach-player relationship because, hey, let's have a beer. Let's do whatever.
Well,
He's different.
Happened in Pittsburgh with Big Ben.
Right.
Happened in Pittsburgh with Big Ben.
It's probably
That's
the reason he's not there.
Retired.
Exactly. Yeah. He's getting too close to the franchise quarterback and other issues came about and all of that. So, that's where I have a hard time thinking he's so insensitive to go, you're not hurt. I got to think there was some complaining or something beforehand about not getting the ball or something of that nature that then led to that. And I don't know. But I know
that. Hey,
yeah.
You know what though?
Right.
They never should have put incentives in his contract based on catches, yards, and touchdowns. I say that all the time. Odell Beckham Jr.'s incentives are based on team performance
You're right
in the
about
postseason.
It, Mike. Yeah.
When you have a player that has a history of being selfish, a history of finding ways to get pissed off. Sorry, London. You don't create an environment that is conducive to him getting upset. Incentives based on individual statistics are almost always a mistake because you're getting a guy in a position where his priorities are going to be screwed up. There should be one priority: winning football games. That's it.
Yeah.
Not how many times I catch the ball, how many yards I get, how many touchdowns I get, and that's what his incentives were driven by. Those are a mistake, and hopefully the lesson that others will take from this is we're going to stop doing the individual statistic-based incentives because nothing good is going to come from that.
Yeah, you better be careful. Or if you do it, you better make sure you know it's the right type of guy who's not going to make it all about him, and that. But, hey, again, you play with fire. You know, you play with a guy like Antonio Brown. This is what happens. This is what he does. I mean, so you're right. I don't feel bad for the Bucs. I mean, they made their bed here with this in this situation. They got to lay in it. But also, like we talked about a little yesterday, again, I don't doubt that Antonio Brown's ankle was bothering him, but to the point or the extent to where he couldn't go back in the football game. And then did he mouth off on the sideline because he wasn't getting the ball or something of that nature? And then, of course, past history of the guy, it's hard to take his side totally in the.
Oh, I'm not.
No, I know you're not.
Side.
I know.
I'm
just
taking
giving
the truth.
I know
Right.
you are. I'm not trying to accuse you. That's where I come back to as a person because I don't want to be insensitive. And the other thing I get to do with Bruce Arians is, man, if he's too insensitive and the guys really know the guy is hurt in Antonio Brown and he can't play, and Bruce Arians is going, get your butt out there. The team will turn on Bruce Arians. They're not going to like that. I just can't imagine Bruce Arians doing it to that extent. That, I guess, is what I'm saying. I could be wrong. Maybe personal emotions boiled over here and they got the best of Bruce Arians. I don't know. But just, again, history of the two guys makes me lean towards Bruce a little bit in this argument, I guess, more than Antonio Brown.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.